The three-eyed alien hanging out in Jabba's throne room in Return of the Jedi isn't just a background alien to fill out space. Not after the expanded universe got done with him anyway. This transmission will cover the alien, a Gran called Ree-Yees. I'll uncover who he is, his grand plans involving murder, espionage, and a deal with Imperials. Then we'll see how all of that leads to his biggest failure. Then we'll take a step outside of the Star Wars universe to see his real-world creation of this notable alien that almost landed him the role of a major hero. Ree-Yees' species, the Gran, are credited with hailing from a number of worlds. The Star Wars official databank says Malastare, so I'll say that that's the true origin point, but they have major settlements on Kinyon, Hawk, and Varkana. The Gran are largely built humanoids with three eyes held on stalks protruding from their heads. Other notable Grans are the pod racer Mahonic and the senator Ask-Ak. It's worth pointing out these other characters of the same species, even though we're not going to dive into them in this transmission, just to show how varied and well integrated into the galaxy the Gran are. They can't easily be boiled down to a single stereotypical role like the Hutts are with crime. The Gran aren't just aliens with three eyes, they actually have some design similarities to goats on Earth. Canon doesn't go too deep on Ree-Yees' stories. He's one of many sycophants of Jabba's and is said to die when Luke and Leia destroy Jabba's sail barge, the Khetanna. We can extrapolate that he's some level, likely lower level, of muscle in Jabba's criminal enterprise and is sometimes associated with Jabba's frog dog, Bubo. The expanded universe, now called Legends, gives us a lot more depth into the character. Legends has his homeworld as Kinyon. This could be true along with Malastare, as there is a major Grand colony on Kinyon. He's convicted of murder on his home planet and flees to the Outer Rim to avoid sentencing. He lands on Tatooine and finds Jabba's crew a welcome place for someone like him. This also leads to his alcoholism. Jabba takes the Gran on for various tasks. He runs errands, deals with some of Jabba's semi-legitimate fronts like the White Thrada Shipping Company, keeps palace inventory, and, unofficially, picks fights with other hangers-on in Jabba's palace. Jabba has no illusions as to who Ree-Yees is. He's a thug with a big head. Giving him some minor responsibilities makes him feel useful, though Ree-Yees always feels that he's above the station that he's actually in. With all of that being said, it's crucial to point out that Jabba does not trust him in the slightest. He has a short-range explosive implanted in Ree-Yees that has the power to kill him and anyone standing too close if Jabba just utters a code phrase. Jabba was right not to trust Ree-Yees, as the latter does plan to assassinate his boss. Ree-Yees conspires with Tessek, a Quarren who serves as Jabba's accountant, and Prefect Eugene Talmont of the Galactic Empire. Talmont supplies the Gran and Quarren with an explosive that's to be planted on Jabba's sail barge, which would kill the Hutt and anyone else on board. In exchange for taking out the crime lord, Tessek would be free to forge his own path, and Talmont would wipe Ree-Yees' record clean, allowing him to return to his home in Kinyon. Talmont would have an easier time controlling his assigned sector of the Outer Rim with Jabba out of the way. This story is sourced primarily from the Legends novel Tales from Jabba's Palace in the story Goatgrass, the Tale of Ree-Yees. If you're getting value or entertainment out of any of my transmissions, it would mean a lot if you would join the Remnant and subscribe. Ree-Yees, tasked with watching over Jabba's frog dog, abuses the animal but still plans to use it to smuggle the explosives onto the sail barge. The pet is far more intelligent than Ree-Yees ever gives it credit for. It eats the components, which wrecks Ree-Yees' part of the plan. Tessek, who was planning on planting a redundant explosive anyway, completes his part of the mission successfully. Jumping forward to the events of Return of the Jedi, when everything is going wrong for Jabba, a chained-up Leia Organa assaults the Hutt with the very mechanism that he uses to keep her constrained. Jabba wants Ree-Yees to grab the woman in a tight hug, so when Jabba triggers the explosive in Ree-Yees' body, she'll die along with him. Jabba dies before this plan can be shouted at the Gran, but I'm guessing he would not have followed this order anyway. As the rebel heroes escape the sail barge, they destroy it, killing Ree-Yees along with many others near Jabba in the process. While this tale deals with a murderer on the run and a conspiracy to assassinate a domineering crime lord and anyone in the vicinity, some of it is actually written for laughs, the first being Bubo, the underestimated frog dog. The second is the tense moment where Jabba tries to kill Ree-Yees, hoping to take down Leia as well and save his own slimy hide. When Jabba dies, Ree-Yees doesn't think too quickly to get clear of the sail barge. He kicks the corpse of the Hutt and gloats before dying in the Khetanna's explosion himself. This final, trivial act really sums up who Ree-Yees is, or I guess was. It's a petty act from a petty being, a low-level criminal who never amounted to anything. On screen, we see the major events that surround Ree-Yees' part of the tale. We can see him on the sail barge, but everything else is added in Legends. I like these little bits of the expanded universe that add more texture and dimension to the core films without any contradictions. A fun little side note, some expanded universe sources and an old version of the Star Tours safety video imply that Ree-Yees actually lived past Endor. This contradicts Canon and Legends. Star Tours is a fun fan experience for sure, but I would not take that as part of the wider story, so just enjoy the ride and the little cameo from the Gran. Stepping out of the Star Wars universe, I want to talk about Ree-Yees' creation. Return of the Jedi had a creature team develop, among many other memorable aspects, the aliens that would fill out Jabba's throne room. Chris Wallace is credited with designing many heads, including Ree-Yees. Multiple performers are credited with wearing the Ree-Yees costume: Richard Bonehill, Paul Springer, and Mike Quinn. The team making the movie liked the goat alien design enough that they almost used it for a much larger role. That is the role of Admiral Akbar before George Lucas picked the fish look for the Mon Calamari species. This explains why the mask has more detail and expressive ability than most of the other background aliens. I'm just going to interrupt for 1 second. Today's video is sponsored by me. Imperial Remnant now has a merch store, and it's not just designs specific to the channel. I'm working with a couple talented artists to bring you unique Star Wars themed designs. Check out the link in the description. Alright, back to the lore. Ree-Yees was also immortalized in 3.5-inch action figures. He was initially released in 1983 from the original Kenner run, and then again in the Power of the Force 2 line in 1998. He's also part of Decipher's Star Wars collectible card game, and I'm sure he has appeared in many other Star Wars merchandising opportunities just for the unique look of the species. Ree-Yees is more than just a background alien, with his legend story revealing him as a convicted murderer, a disgruntled Jabba sycophant, and a central figure in a failed assassination conspiracy that ultimately concluded with his death on the Khetanna. His importance is further cemented by his unique goat alien design, which nearly led to him being cast as the rebel hero Admiral Akbar and his immortalization across the Star Wars merchandise. Check out this transmission next for more tales from Jabba's palace.